without a doubt, TEBA as it is, whether you look at it as a hindrance or not, punishes employers who set up and create employment. And it looks at reasons for severance or exit as being something that is the fault of the employer, rather than something which may be the result of external factors, like COVID happened. Nobody could control that. Now, the increase in tariffs in the US, where I think 40% of our exports are headed, and the 90-day reprieve freeze is about to expire. The government has to be proactive here and ask manufacturers who are exporting to the US, how is this going to impact you? Otherwise, it's going to impact a lot of people for no reason, no fault of their own, because they've already done the budgets. They've already got their orders. They've got, for the next financial year, they have put a structure in place which has now been, completely put into disarray by a absolutely external influence. So then you can't punish an employer for going into unprofitability. So Sri Lanka has to take a good hard look at what are you trying to do, because you are asking the employer to pay compensation, which is a maximum of 4 years, 48 months severance pay under the TEBA. Assuming that that person is not going to find employment for the next 4 years. So are you saying that Sri Lanka creates such little employment that this person who's being laid off under the TEBA is not going to be able to find a job for the next 4 years, so that you have to compensate for 4 years? So there's absolutely no logic in that formula. So it is for the government, when it is talking about labor law reform, to look at it pragmatically, because the government has to put in place unemployment insurance schemes, social security, and to ensure that people get back into work without punishing an employer who has given employment, who has created employment, is now forced to exit for reasons beyond their control. Think of again a pandemic type of scenario. So we have to be able to create enough employment for workers to transition from one job to another without having this concept of lifetime employment with this one employer, and therefore we are going to punish you if you close your factory and go elsewhere where it is more profitable. So that is the real disincentive. That is the message that we are sending out by focusing on this next issue from a very emotional kind of perspective. That then employer has no right to close down their business if it does not make business sense to them. They are not in it for charity, they are in it for profit. And if the employer says they are in it, they are not profitable, then they have to go to the Commissioner General of Labour and prove on some kind of non-defined yardstick how they are not profitable. To a bureaucrat who has never worked in the private sector and who does not understand how the private sector corporate entities work. I do not know whether that is fair. So just as much as you must protect workers from unfair dismissal, which is the real question, you must also not punish investors who come to Sri Lanka as an investment location and contribute to the economy even for a while,